guys, what's up? Welcome to ChamPanZ Percussion. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and we're so excited to have you join us. Now, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to keep up to date on any new videos I'll be posting. Today we're going to be talking about a newer topic. This topic is on velocity. Now, velocity is all about hand speed. Most of you guys are familiar with the different height system, which means playing 1 inch, 3 inch, 6 inch, 9, 12, even 15 inches. But if you were to play using the same height and the same velocity or hand motion, you will be getting the same sound out of the stick. Let me show you what I mean. Now, if you heard that closely, both of those sounded very similar. Now, I'm not saying that they sounded exactly the same. They sounded so close to where both of the notes can be easily confused as the same note. So what most people already do without them even noticing is as you're playing an accent, you're playing that at a faster velocity. So like this. But one thing we as percussionists need to work on is on velocity. We need to make sure that we can control this velocity. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what are some exercises that I can use that are going to help me develop my velocity? Well, there's two different exercises that we can work on. One is eights, your normal eights exercise, whether it's 16 on each hand or 8 on each hand. And the other exercise you can also practice is bucks. Now bucks already works on the fast velocity and slow velocity, but I'm sure you're wondering, why 16 or 8 on a hand? The way that you can actually use this exercise is by changing the hand speed as you're playing. For example, listen to this. Now, as you heard, I was just playing your eights exercise. But if you heard closely, I'm sure that you realized that that did not sound like your eights exercise, but in fact, it sounded like your bucks exercise. So what did I do? I manipulated all the downbeats so that all my downbeats sounded exactly like an accent instead of a regular tap. Now, I didn't change the height. As you can tell, that was pretty close. Maybe I used a little bit of arm, but in fact, I just used faster speed to make sure that that note got a little bit more sound. Now, you can also do the same thing using your bucks exercise. What you can do with this exercise is make sure that you slow down that hand speed and make sure that your accent sounds exactly like your tap, just like this. So all I did was make sure that I slowed down my hand when playing that accent and make sure that I listened, used my ears, and lined up the sound of my first note with the second note. Now, the biggest question is, when is this a very useful skill to use? Most of the time when you're going to be using more velocity, it's going to be whenever you're in your marching band environment or your indoor drumline environment. The reason I say that is because whenever you're in the outdoor environment, you might have to project a little bit more. Now, I'm not saying you always have to project. You need to make sure that you also listen in and make sure that you balance to the rest of the ensemble. But in most cases, you're playing in the outdoor environment and your instrument does have to project a little bit more. That's why we, as percussionists, need to be aware on how to control our hand speed whenever we're playing in the outdoor environment or indoor environment. Now, I will say, you can use this method whenever you're in the concert environment, but it's not that common. You are using a little bit more velocity whenever you play those accents, but most of the time it's nice and relaxed and you're not projecting as much. But you do use it just a little bit. Now here's a few things that you, as a percussionist, need to be aware of as you're practicing your hand speed. You need to make sure that you're playing nice and relaxed legato strokes. What is that? That means that you're coming back up and down. If you're tense, that's going to cause a lot more problems than you were even expecting. So just be nice and relaxed, and all you have to do is just slow down your hand or speed up your hand, depending on what sound you're trying to get out of those notes. The other thing to keep in mind is practice this slow. This is a new technique and most of you guys have probably not heard of this whole velocity technique. But to make sure that you're successful with this technique and this skill, you gotta practice this really slow. So if it takes you having to go 30 beats per minute, then practice that at 30 beats per minute. Don't go at 120, don't go 160 if you do not have that skill developed yet. Slow it down and pick it up gradually, just like I always say. Well, that's all I have for today. Now, if you still have any other questions about this velocity technique, please comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to keep up to date on any new videos I'll be posting. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to have fun.